is advised. Hello and welcome to Behind the Streams, where we interview amateur streamers, learn about their stream, life, and more. Now, welcome our hosts, Cameron and Terminalogic.
Welcome to Behind the Streams. I'm your host, Cameron, and as usual, we're joined by Terminalogic.
What's going on?
How are you, buddy?
Pretty good. Can't complain. Even if I did, nobody would listen. I'm kidding. No, it's been a good year so far. I mean, it's just 5 days in, but I guess it could be worse. Right?
I mean, yeah, it could be worse. Well, I'm 6 days in now, so...
Well, yeah, true.
At the time of the recording.
This is true.
Oh,
I did get
but did you have a good...
Yeah, I did. Good New Year, you were going to say?
Yeah, I was going to say that, yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, I didn't really do anything. I actually just... My wife was working, so I spent most of my time just playing games. So...
All right.
One way to ring it in.
I mean, yeah. It's like that meme on that you see where it's like the drawing of like 2358 gaming, 2359 gaming, 0000 holding like a sparkler up in the air.
Right.
And then 0001 back to gaming.
Back to gaming. That was pretty much how it happened. And actually, we missed it, and it was like five or 6 minutes after the new year rang in, and I'm like, oh wait, it's 2019 now, I guess.
I mean, as soon as it hit midnight here, the fireworks started going off, and I had my window open, and Jukes and Jaeger thought it was gunshots.
Oh, God. That's about the usual. I heard gunshots till probably about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And about that, I live in the city.
Oh, great.
Like, gravity, people. But this week I was able to get the website up and going, so that's good for us, I guess.
Oh, great! So people can listen on the website now.
Yeah. Once we I do need to do an update, but other than that, the streams are on there, and all the different episodes will be on there as well, and then you can catch them every week, so forth and so on. And that's at www.BehindTheStreamsPodcast.com. So that's cool.
Yeah. So I guess it's another way for people to listen to the podcast if they can't access YouTube for some reason.
Right, exactly. Well, I mean, it'll be... I'm finishing up getting ready to put all the episodes on Spotify, so we can link them to from the website to Spotify or to SoundCloud. So that way
Alright.
It'll be a little bit easier for everybody to listen.
Awesome. Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, it was just a busy week of nothing, really. Trying to get back into the working life again. Being off on holiday was I was working like 2 days and then be off like 6. Then work 2 days, be off 6. So
Yeah, the Christmas period for work is very, very weird unless you're working retail.
Yeah, exactly. And I used to work retail. I did. And it was really busy then for us. So
yeah, because you have people who actually book off the holidays, like for using their actual work holidays. So then you have to do extra hours to cover those.
Right. Or then you have call-outs.
Yeah.
Retail's crazy. Especially during the holiday season. Nobody wants to work, but everybody wants money.
Exactly.
But it is what it is, I guess.
I don't want to work, but I want money.
That's right. But other than that, I did watch Bird Box, what everybody's been talking about on Netflix.
Oh, God.
This time I was not doing the Bird Box challenge, so that's good. What were your thoughts on the movie?
You said this time, so
Well, yeah,
you're
this time,
implying that you've done it in the past?
Maybe I was unaware that I was doing it, but
Oh, right. So it was like, oh, I've just done a challenge. Okay.
right, it was just a regular challenge, not a Bird Box challenge. Yeah, but people need to
Right.
be careful out there, people. Be careful. Don't do nothing crazy. Don't be silly because of a meme.
Yeah. Don't go walking around the streets blindfolded.
Right. It's kind of like eating.
Please.
It's kind of like eating Tide Pods. Don't do that either.
Yeah.
But
Oh.
yeah, what were your thoughts on the movie? Did you like it or?
No, I thought it was the biggest pile of crap I've ever seen.
Yeah, I've seen mixed here and there. I was kind of like, it was just. I see what it was trying to do, but it just kind of fell short, you know.
Oh, massively. It missed like by a mile. It's like trying to land an airplane and then going 120 miles to the wrong airport.
Right.
What I got from the movie was they try to imply mental health
Yeah.
with like the monsters and stuff. What I got from that was when the monsters were coming, they kind of blindfolded themselves, which in my eyes they were saying like you shouldn't take notice of mental health because it's bad, I guess.
Kind of ignore or put a blindfold over the problem, ignore the problem, and then it won't hurt you type of deal.
Yeah, which
I know there was some human connection stuff in there as well because of things that happened, but I don't know. It was kind of there's some complexities in there that could have gone a different route, I think. But
yeah,
I mean, it was okay. Yeah. It's not going to win any awards, I don't think, but it might win a few. But
I mean,
you never know. I mean, it was okay. I'll just say that. I won't be watching it again.
We'll
I know
go with
that.
I've never known a movie to become such a massive meme.
Yeah, and it happened pretty quickly too. I mean, it came out like what, right before Christmas, I think. And then it's been literally like 5 days.
A week after it came out.
And people are
like a couple of days.
Right. And everybody's all right, let's blindfold ourselves and walk down the street for a day. Bad idea.
It's crazy. So let's move on and see who is in today's show.
Campers fear him. Potatoes want to be him and try hard to study his every move. He is Sordmas. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for hosting me.
No problem. Glad for you to be here.
So, how are we doing today, Sod?
Oh, besides getting my water here finally fixed and actually having hot water, it's all right.
Yeah, hot water seems to be quite vital in a home.
Especially if it's 32 degrees out and dropping.
Definitely, yes.
I can definitely probably cause some shrinking, if you know what I mean.
Jesus.
Oh, and just to clarify, before we do actually get into the questions, we're not exactly a PG podcast.
Oh, if you were, you would not have me on the show.
I don't know what you're talking about.
We're all friendly. This is on YouTube.
Demonetized. Yeah, we say some. Well, we try not to say some fucked up stuff, but we can't help it.
It just happens.
It just happens. I'm sorry.
It's just a prank. I didn't mean it.
It's just a prank, bro.
Just speaking some truth. That's all.
Of course.
So, other than the hot water heater, how long has that been out?
It just happened yesterday. Me and my grandma got home after I came home after work and I started hearing it. I didn't think of anything of it. And then she looked, and all of a sudden water's coming out. So the guy had to come out this morning after he finally found the emergency number, and I think they got it done around like 2 o'clock my time. So they were here probably from 9. Had to go get the new heater, brought it back, then had to wait for a new guy. So it was like 3 of them. And then it was just like disconnecting everything, trying to get it out of our small little trailer home. And then I guess one of them had to go on the roof to disconnect the stack or something. It was just a bit of a ring around the rosy, but eventually we got it.
Yeah, at least they were able to get it in for the holidays around the corner.
Exactly, and it wasn't even that bad of a day out, so they weren't freezing and dragging their butts.
Yeah, have you noticed though? It's never only one engineer that comes out. It's always a full army of them.
Yeah, how many engineers does it take to screw in a light bulb?
3 apparently.
Well, one's got to figure out how to do it the most efficient way. One's got to figure out how to put the ladder in just the right way. Just the list goes on.
Very true. One has to do the maths.
You got one sitting on the calculator.
Well, if you stagger the ladder right there, that'd be the best trajectory to screw the screwdriver in perfectly.
Exactly, get that amount of torque on it without having to expend extra kinetic energy. Oh no. All the physics coming back to me. Don't start me, please.
Welcome to the physics podcast.
Today we're talking about VOAT, and now we've got derived from a long, complicated string of text. See, I never did any of my web assignment, which was basically online homework for it, but I still got A's on all the tests, so I still walked out with a B.
Very well.
Yeah, my teacher actually called my mom twice because, like, wait, why is he not doing his web assignment? I told my mom, look, here's my grades.
I always loved physics, just never was good at it. It's a love-hate relationship.
Got to go to Six Flags, though.
I mean,
Get him measure the trajectory of falling from 200 feet.
We actually had to do, when we went to freaking Six Flags, we actually had to do physics stuff to do. Like, you had to figure out, I think it was like how fast the carousel was going based on the height and how long it took for one revolution. And then you also had to figure out something for the roller coaster. I couldn't remember exactly what it was. It's just
This is so the worst Six Flags trip.
So, what got you into streaming?
Well, back in, what was it? I just graduated high school in 2015, so probably later on that year when I started, I went and was on the college esports team for Counter-Strike, and there were a couple other my teammates that were doing streaming, and I'm like, oh, you know what? I could probably do that now, because I never really had a computer that could run it, but at the esports arena that's in the building that has all these computers, they were all, like the top of the line at that time. So I started streaming my my Counter-Strike scrims and stuff like that, and I had to take a bit of a break, but then I finally got a computer from work and was able to start streaming again.
Oh,
Well, that's awesome. Do you enjoy the competitive market pretty good?
For Counter-Strike, yeah, it really was fun at the time, but then just because this was before even Overwatch and stuff came out, a lot of the times where there could be really toxic moments, just like in any game, but it wasn't as bad in Counter-Strike. But when I had to leave the college due to just not being able to pay for it as much as I wanted to, I started playing League and Overwatch and stuff like that. And I mean, League community, there can be really good people, but most of the time when you're playing competitive and you're at the lower brackets like I started at, it can be super toxic. I mean, we're talking like full on salt in your veins 24/7. But I mean, other than that, I mean, it can be really fun. I've met quite a few decent people when I've been playing competitive games, and just seeing how like the pro scene for Counter-Strike and League and
so everyone has that one time where they begin their very first Twitch account, and they have to hit that go live button for the very first time. How did you overcome the nerves of hitting that go live button for the very first time?
Well, I mean, how I've always thought of streaming when I first started, I was always thinking, if I'm playing a game and I could do it, I might as well just hit the button. And if people come in, that could either be potential people, like friends to keep talking with, play other games with, or it could just be people who just stick around and you just talk it up a lot. So as I've just been keep doing that, it's just have met quite a few other people from other games that come in and play, and there's a lot that's come out and helped out a lot. So it's more of the fact that how I see it is, if you're playing a game and you got the ability, just go ahead and hit live and then just play the game as you normally would. Don't do anything special for it or anything, because at the end of the day, you're supposed to try to be you. That's what you're trying to portray yourself as.
Yeah, exactly.
Good advice.
And whenever it seems like with you, anyways, whenever you are live, a lot of times you are gaming with a lot of your friends. Is that usually what you do for the most part?
Oh, well, it really depends on the game. Escape from Tarkov, which has been one of the main games on the channel so far. It's one of those games where you can play it solo, because then of course you can hear movement a lot easier, and you don't have to be like, okay, is that my teammate or is that just someone trying to shoot?
Right.
But it's one of those things also where you can also run into quite a few groups, and in that kind of a hardcore game where just one bullet can knock out an entire limb and now you're at a disadvantage versus a 1v2, it can get a little bit hard. And not only that, just Tarkov itself, if it can get very stressful in those kind of situations. But I mean, some games like League, I play solo sometimes, unless I'm playing with one of my friends, Lady Dark Knight. Magic the Gathering, I've been playing a little bit solo just to try to get back into it. And then Counter-Strike, I've been playing solo again just so I can kind of grind out again, because I lost basically all my spray control for it. So it's oh, that's what happens when you don't play the game for like 4 months after playing it for 2 years in a row.
Yeah, I mean that happens with really honestly any game.
Yeah.
I mean, just playing with other people also makes you a little bit different enjoyment of a game that you've been playing for a while. That way you don't get burned out of it too.
Oh yeah, exactly. I'll play a lot of storyline based games, like Red Dead or something, by myself. But for the most part, I like to game with others for the most part. I mean, I will by myself, but especially with the PC games. Console games, I'll play by myself. That's no big deal. But PC games, I like to play with, my homies.
Exactly, because otherwise you're wasting headphones.
Right.
Giant mic in front of you, not using it though.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm pretty much the same. Console game, I really don't care. Like, I couldn't care less if I'm playing with anyone. But PC gaming, I've got a microphone, I've got headphones. What's the point in having them if you're not going to talk to anyone?
Right. But I mean, like I said, it's more just dependent on the game. Some games are really made for the online multiplayer, while some, like say Skyrim, that was made for single player. But it's one of those games where you can play solo just because there's so much things going on, and always keeping your attention. And no matter how many times you go play Skyrim, something can be different. Whether you add a different mod or you do a different play style, like, oh, maybe I could beat Alwyn using only my fists.
Right.
Yeah,
That would be a freaking achievement.
I've done some runs similar to that. Trying to use nothing but knuckle weapons and just talking to people.
Yeah, I've actually had. I was reading an article on Skyrim one day. Sorry to go off a little bit topic, but I thought it was pretty fun. There was an article saying no matter how many times you played Skyrim, one fault you always have is you always go back to the bow.
Right.
Just because of that sneak damage. It's just, you feel like so cool just sneaking around with this bow out and just one-shotting people.
Right.
I'm like, crap, I fall into that fault sometimes.
But it's very much so the truth.
You always get back to Legolas.
Exactly. Damn you, Lord of the Rings.
Damn it.
Why does the badass character have to be a tall elf that just decimates? What about the dwarves?
Dwarf lives matter too.
That's a new hashtag. Dwarves lives matter.
Poor dwarves.
It's fine. They get the beards going for them.
Exactly. Both male and female. If it comes down to you're sitting there streaming and a popular streamer comes by and hosts you, and then you turn around, you have 10,000, 15,000 people in your stream, how do you think you'll react to that?
Well, I mean, I'd honestly probably be really grateful. I know I've seen quite a few videos where some small time streamers will get that host and then they start breaking down. I don't think I'd ever do that, but I would be extremely grateful. Probably mention it a couple times, and if I have anyone else from like my regulars who haven't even heard the person, try to mention them a little bit. Say, hey, go look at their guys' stuff too. But I'd probably still try to be how I was streaming, 2 minutes before, because at that point, with a bigger audience, you're still trying to portray what your channel is going to be. If people ever like, oh, I remember going to a raid with this guy, they come back and then they see this. Well, maybe they might stick around a little bit more.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's kind of that consistency that helps you in the end.
Yeah. You don't always want to do like the same over and over again, because who are taking the time out of their day to come and watch you play a game or whatever you're doing, whether music or if they keep seeing that, then they might just get bored and go to it. So it's nice to change things up a bit. That's how I do with games, where I'll play with different people and stuff like that. But the way you portray yourself should be one of the consistent things. Like, say, Dr. Disrespect. He's always in character. Other streamers that kind of do that.
Yeah, and by far one of the best characters out there, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's funny because the last 3 episodes, someone's mentioned Dr. Disrespect in one way or in one shape, way, or form.
The reason why I mentioned it is just because me and buddies were actually talking about it the other day, about the whole BSG versus erotic, I think it's how you say it. It's basically the developers who made Escape from Tarkov with a certain situation with basically how they say in character and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah. Do you have any story? Ran into been chaos.
Well, there was a time where I was streaming my role playing on an armor server that I was actually pretty fond of, and I was a marshal in there. So we were doing a bank robbery. We were responding to that, and all of a sudden, the server had someone get hacked through, and they just blew up all the cars, and were throwing black screens up on everyone's computer, and hate speech and stuff like that, and then breaking the TFR, which is how you use TeamSpeak to be able to talk in directional assess. They were breaking it so they could talk to everyone, saying hate speech over that. So then at that point, I switched games immediately and got out of that TeamSpeak, started playing Overwatch, and then they came into my channel and started doing the same thing there. And actually, they DOSed me as well. Like I even had to call my internet provider, and they're like, "Oh yeah, help. This is not okay."
What did you do?
It's like a really rural area, so we got this place called XL Broadband that really not many people heard of, and they're like, they didn't even know what the hell to do because this is the first time they even dealt with something like.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they knew what to do, but they just never had to do it before. We'll say that.
Right.
But it was just more because I was playing on the server, and it was a server I enjoyed. But it was just people who got butthurt that they got banned because they were hacking on a server and got caught. I mean, that killed the stream for about 2 days because of how long they were going on about it. After that, I bounced back and started playing again.
That's funny.
That's pretty hilarious.
It was a great conversation on the phone call, though. That's for sure.
I can just imagine the phone call. Yeah, someone. Right, this is how it worked.
Well, I mean, I didn't tell them the whole server thing, but look, I know this might sound crazy, and you probably have gotten this complaint before, and people actually turned out not to have it. But I do strongly believe I've been DDoSed currently for this amount of time frame, and here's the evidence. And I even said I could even show them video because I threw up my the ping alert on Overwatch when I was doing it, and you just see it go from 40 to skyrocket to 2,000, just keep going and going, and then it come back down for a while. You'd be playable. That's why I went Lucio. It just went skyrocketing again, down, up, and down, and then it just cut out for like a solid 15 minutes. It's like, okay, well,
Yikes.
Major acres.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, there's some terrible people out there, but there are still good people out there. That's all I care about.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Right, okay, we're going to pause here so we can join a call because the connection is actually really bad.
All right, sounds good.
So, carrying on from the question previously, what's probably the best thing that's ever happened on your stream?
Well, I mean, there's been actually quite a few things. There was a time where, I mean, since I've been playing Tarkov, the stream hasn't been that great video-wise just because of how taxing the game is. And I've had people tell me to throw up like a donation thing for building a new PC because I've said I wanted to build a new PC on stream for a while. So I started doing that, and there was a time where I finally reached the goal to get the case, so I went and ordered the case. Then I switched the goal to be for the motherboard, and someone later on that night paid for the whole thing, which is about $60, and I'm sitting there, wow. It took me a while to figure out like what it was for because my phone actually died, so I couldn't read the messages for it because the way I had to do my notifications in chat is I had to use my phone because I only got one monitor.
Right.
So I'm like, crap, what was that sound I heard like 10 minutes ago? So I all 10 of the game that I finally finished, and I saw it, I'm like, oh crap. And I was sitting there talking with the guy and saying how grateful I was and stuff like that, and I went over and showed how to get it, and that got ordered, so currently that's still waiting to be put into the computer. But I mean, there was that, and then there's also just times where I've had some pretty nice raids and just people sticking around, and it just really made the night.
That's that's really generous of someone to actually pay for the motherboard outright for you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sitting there like, holy hell! How the heck what did I do to get to do that? Like just playing Tarkov and you getting dicked over because of the frame rate. So
No,
that's the funny joke. Sorry to cut you off.
Oh, no, you're good.
That was the funny joke that my group have been saying a lot. Like I can play the game really well, but I lose a lot of the firefights because either a lockup or something like that. And I can't even use zoomed in scopes. I can only use like red dots and such. So the second I can actually use a sniper scope and stuff like that, people are gonna be losing their heads.
So, that's what this game is like.
Like, oh, so that's the other half of the game I haven't been able to play. No wonder my survival rating is so low.
Your survival rating just triples. Remember, you get new equipment.
Yeah, the guy who's our carry, basically Rev, he's been really doing well. Last night he even got he fully wiped the squad while we were literally just standing around trying to call out for him. And we were like, the one day I pass Rev is the day I get a new computer.
How low do you have to play one right now?
Well, so with playing on the lowest settings, which honestly with a game like Tarkov, most people I usually get I'd say probably between 25 to 35 frames but since it's such a CPU aggressive game,
Mm-hmm.
and right now my graphics card is also getting bottlenecked by a 8x slot instead of the 16 Express.
Yeah.
It's only capturing it at like 35 to 25 of the 35 to 25, so it looks a little bit like a slideshow. And I've asked people like, I mean, I cannot play, or I won't stream the game if you guys don't really want to see this. And they're like, oh, keep talking, it's fine. But what is seen on the stream is a lot lower than what I'm getting actually in game. But there is still times where you get the lockups and you get there'll be that little moment where you're like, oh, that should have hit, but turns out the game didn't really see it as a hit. It's like, God, there was a time actually, and I got this on, I didn't get it recorded, and I was so annoyed. There was a guy who was basically lagging through a door, and I'm sitting there hitting him with pistol shot after pistol shot. Then eventually got a shotgun and started hitting him with the shotgun. And I'm seeing blood splatter all over the walls. I'm hearing him get hurt. And then he's still lagging, but after I cross the doorway, he's able to hit me and just 2-shots me. Get out of the raid, and it says 18 shots, none of them hit. I'm sitting there like, what is that? But it's like, but I think the guy was using a glitch on the door because I just recently heard about it. I probably just found out about it before more people knew about it, sadly.
Yeah, you found out the hard way.
Yeah, I found it the hard way, exactly.
So, do you personally, in your own opinion, do you think the technology that you use to stream impacts your viewership?
Like, do you mean more like computer wise and stuff like that, or do you mean like automated bots?
I mean more towards like all the fancy stuff you see people like Dr. Disrespect use.
Oh, like a
big
green
mix.
screen,
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah,
that.
exactly, yeah.
Well, since I personally don't use a webcam, I don't really worry about green screen or anything. But I think it would tie a little bit into it, just because, say if you get a better mic. Now I'm using my headset mic on a SteelSeries Arctis 3, but if I only used the headphones for just hearing things, and I actually had a separate mic, I'd sound a lot clearer. And if I have a mixer, I could do different noise gates so people don't hear the whole like that kind of weird static airy thing that goes on every now and then.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about? So I mean, you don't need to go all overboard with it unless that's like a focal point of your stream and you really want to have the money to put in But I think you should at least focus on the main things being video quality and audio quality before you work like a webcam, a green screen, or any like fancy webcam trips. Like I know some people have like the animated avatars that they use instead of showing their face.
Yeah.
Some people really like enjoying watching that kind of thing, and that could be how they like to watch someone's stream. But personally, I more think people want to go into the stream and be more able to enjoy a little bit of gameplay at a decent quality and be able to hear the person just fine. Because at the end of the day, you're more talking to the streamer and maybe caring about the gameplay.
Right. I know personally with me, that's more what I go for. I want to see, how do they play this game? Are they good? Do they keep my attention? Stuff like that.
Yeah. So depending on the technology, it can have an effect on the viewership. But it really depends on which one you're kind of going for. If you're talking about webcam green screen, I don't think that's really needed. But a good quality mic and a good quality PC, I think, are two of the main things you have to worry about.
Yeah. And then ASMR.
Well, I mean, if that's what people are into, then you gotta get that weird mic that looks like it has 2 ears on the stand. So it's like,
I'll skip that.
Yeah, we won't talk about ASMR.
Moving on.
Moving on swiftly.
When it comes to trolls, how do you handle trolls yourself?
well, like I said before, with that whole hacking incident, they came in and were doing that kind of thing. Depending on the kind of like how bad they're doing it, if they're doing just constant hate speech and stuff like that, I have really a zero tolerance for that. So that's usually warrants a ban right away. If it's just them being very angry at another viewer, or they're mad at me, like say I'm playing Tarkov, since I got TV in the name. If I kill somebody or someone kills me, they could hop in the channel and either say GG or they could get really toxic. Usually that could probably warrant a mute. It's more the fact of they get what they deserve. If they're being just a little bit of a small annoyance and just being persistent of that annoyance after being warned, it'd probably be a mute for a little bit. And then after that, they continue with, then it'd probably be turned into a ban. But if it's being straight out hate speech and calling people names, then that just goes straight to a ban. That you don't need that in your stream, and that could also hurt viewership.
Yeah,
right.
sure.
So you've got like a zero tolerance for like trolling in your channel.
Yeah, like little like joking trolls. Like those little small jokes. That could slide, but the main zero tolerance thing is hate speech and derogatory terms and just being just straight that you're meaning to be.
Well, I mean, you can't really do that anyways because it's against anybody's policies. Twitch, YouTube, whatever.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Especially Twitch, you'll be banned quickly.
Exactly, but even then, people still do it.
Yeah.
And like, if people are doing it over voice, like if they're doing it in game, I just end up muting desktop audio until I can either get away from that person in game or find the way to hit the mute button on them in game.
Right. Exactly. What about dealing with chat? Somebody spamming a bunch of dick butts everywhere.
Well, if it's a spam, that would probably be a chat mute. Like I said, I do have to use my my phone unless I can alt tab of the game without crashing it to do it. But I generally have a mod or two that are playing with me, so most of them even have the stuff up on a second screen that they can help out real quick. So it usually gets taken care of. I haven't really had to deal with it that much, but the one time I did, that was the whole straight out ban. So
that's good. That's good.
Yeah, we actually got one of those guys had their Twitch accounts banned too because I went and got the evidence off my stream and sent it to them, and I went late the next day to go check on the account, and you got that error where it's like, unless you have a time machine, this ain't a thing anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hell yeah.
Nice.
Then again, it's not hard to make another account, but it's a little bit of a blow to them that whatever they had in viewership before, they got to re-get it.
Oh yeah, definitely, and especially if they streamed themselves. Oh boy.
Exactly.
And it kind of depends on, what they do.
Exactly.
How bad their ban was, too. Going away from trolls, because they're trolly anyway, so
I did trolls.
Are there any upcoming games you're looking forward to?
Well, there was this one game that I just recently heard about, but apparently it's coming out tomorrow. Atlas, I heard. Basically, it's supposed to be like 40,000 people in one world, and it's supposed to be like a pirate game. I'm like, ooh, that looks really cool, because I was playing a lot of Sea of Thieves, and tonight, I'm actually, after this, I'm probably doing Sea of Thieves because I finally reinstalled it. But it's like this. It's like Ark had a baby with Sea of Thieves, so you get like the whole pirate-esque feel to it, while also having that big constructive and community type deal going on. And I'm sitting there thinking that's really cool. So that might be something I look into. Otherwise, most of the other games I really wanted to play are all on like the Switch and stuff. So I had to go get a Switch first, because I'm like probably one of the bigger Zelda fans out there. So when I was little, there was probably I want to say 2 Game Boy games were out. Link 1, or it was Legend of Zelda 1, and then the second one I don't think I ever played, where it was like a 2D platformer. I don't think I ever played that one. I've seen it, but I haven't played it.
It was a little different.
But I mean, every other one I've basically played, save for Skyward Sword and Breath of the Wild.
Oh, that's awesome.
But of course, Breath of the Wild, Breath of the Wild stuck on the Switch.
Which one was your favorite?
Oh, you're gonna make me choose. Crap.
Make you choose. Make that hard decision.
it had to be in between Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. The funny thing is, everyone when Wind Waker first came out, everyone was like, "Oh God, why is this all cartoony? Oh no, it's all happy. This is not the Zelda." La la la. But then they brought out Twilight Princess, and they're like, "Wait, this is dark as hell." Give me back to Wind Waker.
Yeah.
But then more people did the whole Wind Waker thing. I probably had to be Wind Waker. I mean, I also saw. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Games Done Quick.
Mm-hmm.
They do quite a bit of charity. So like for 3 or I think it was like a week when I was watching it. It was like summer GDQ. Basically, they had do Wind Waker speedrun, and for about 10 minutes he was just sitting there doing like move a frame, hit the pause button, just keep doing that. But it basically skips the entire first island. I'm sitting there like, how the hell did you find that out? Or there was a time where, if you remember in Wind Waker, you had the giant barrier that's in Hyrule they had to get past.
Yeah.
Well, when they figured out how to actually get past that wall, that was like, how the hell did you do that? Because apparently it's very hard to do, because always you end up dying and you don't have another checkpoint all the way until way back when. But it's just like, holy hell, like some of these speed runs, the things that people do are just crazy. And there were just on a random tangent, that have you guys heard of Celeste?
Yes, the
For the strawberries and the little girl jumping up the mountain.
Yeah. She's climbing the mountain or whatever.
So they have this thing called Tazbot, which looks like Rob from Smash Bros.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, it's this computerized thing that can do speedrun. Like they program each move, and it beat the game, I think, in like 20 minutes or not even 20 minutes.
Wow.
Wow. Probably using smart learning or something.
Yeah.
Well,
most probably.
yeah, exactly. Like they find out what's the quickest thing to do. They program the bot to do, it, and then they also make things that only the bot can do versus a human. Because there was a thing where it could do like you had to do like 4 perfect frame hits or something like that. I'm like, how the hell did you guys even figure that out? We can't do it ourselves. Like what? But it's like you gotta hit the button faster than what we can do and all that.
Ah, right.
The things that technology can do nowadays.
I know, right?
Well, since it's a it's an 8-bit style type of game, it kind of goes back to that old school, way of cheating, where you actually have to look at the ones and zeros behind the scenes, and you can figure out what's going on.
Exactly.
Moving on to the part of the podcast I like to call peeling back the layers. This is where we start to get a bit more personal, and we try and break some of your layers and try
This
and
is a Shrek bit.
So hopefully these questions don't make you cry too much.
Bring it on, I'm ready. I'm a Tarkov player, for Pete's sake.
3 minutes
Okay.
later, I swear,
It was a prank.
So let's start off by peeling back the first layer and asking what keeps you grounded in real life.
Well, probably. I mean, probably my girlfriend. She's been very supportive of most things nowadays. And just trying to balance work and stream, and just how constant things have been going on, like the whole water heater and my car constantly needing repairs and stuff like that. She's always been there to lend a shoulder and things like that. And then also my friends, when either I'm having a slow night or a game's just really making you mad that night, they're always there to either be mad with you or just be like, hey, let's go play a different game. Come on. So it's probably like one of those things where you have people with you, and the support really helps. And then not even that, if I am streaming that night and I have people around just keeping me going, that's also another thing.
Oh wow, okay.
that's awesome. You want to give her a little shout out?
Oh, Heather, if you're listening, I love you.
Okay.
Was that the awkward thing you were trying to warn about earlier?
Tad, yeah.
It's just more the fact she doesn't really do too much of online stuff, so.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so how do you balance streaming with your real outside of streaming?
Well, basically, for work, I work at a vet clinic over here, and I work night shift generally. So, my days off consist of Thursdays and Saturdays. Otherwise, I'm working 1:30 to 8:30 ish my time. So the second I get home, basically, is when I'll eat real quick and usually start stream about an hour later or so. I probably go until the second I feel like I'm about to pass out. So the second
Right.
I start feeling that, it's like, oh, gotta end it, go to bed, and then I sleep till probably noon-ish, 12:30. Get ready for work, and then I go feed the animals. If it's usually like the night before my day off, though, I'll go a little bit longer, be able to sleep in a little bit longer. So,
Right.
I try to not to overdo it too much, but there have been times where I get up in the morning after streaming for a long while. It's just like, I do not want to go to work.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that hard to balance, but then again, I don't really do much outside of working real life right now, besides taking care of my barn. I mean, and also, Saturday I just leave as my day to go be with the girlfriend after I drive over there to her house, and we'll either go out or I'll sit there and help her babysit, and we go.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Is that what you're in school for? Veterinary?
Well, what I was going to school for was originally for computer sciences, so I was more trying to either not exactly like a Best Buy dude, but kind of like a Best Buy dude, Geek Squad wise.
Mm-hmm.
A Best Buy dude.
But yeah, I was just trying to think of like, was there another way to say Geek Squad, or if there's another term? Because I know some places weirdly have
like
different
a
terms.
technician.
Yeah, not necessarily working on servers or software, more working on the computer itself.
Right. Just basically hardware technician.
Yeah, but with this college I chose over in Chicago, they were more teaching you how to be like a software or a server admin, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I was doing for that for a while, and then now I've just been out of school trying to save up money to either take some classes online or something. But then my grandma works for animal control out in our county, so she was able to get me into the vet place pretty easily because she deals with them a lot, and they owe her quite a few favors now and then because of what she has to do for them.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, but I mean, I've been there for a little bit over a year and a half or so now. I started back in August last year. And it can be fun, but there's also times where it can be super stressful just dealing with animals. I mean, like 2 weeks in was the first time I got bit in the head by a husky. Yeah, it wasn't too serious, luckily. But I mean, the animal, the technician didn't tell me they were about to do a fecal on it. So I was getting up from after holding the dog because you kind of have to hold them in like a headlock if they're a bigger animal, or if they're a smaller dog, you gotta be gentle. So I was getting up from that after they got their shots, but she didn't tell me she was about to do it. So I'm, my arm's up a little bit, and I'm starting to stand up, and dog got around the arm and got me like right a little bit behind the left ear.
Oh.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. It was a puncture wound, but didn't need stitches or anything. So after work, I went to the hospital, took a day off, and then came back to work the other day.
Nice. All right.
Well, you did your whole shift.
Exactly. Yeah, I got out of the whole rest of the shift.
Oof.
Moving on to dealing with personal things. If somebody brings negativity to your stream, whether it be let's say you get into a dispute with a friend or just some random troll, and we kind of talked about that earlier. Does it bother you personally on a personal level if somebody does that?
Especially if it is a friend that I've been playing games for a while, it does, just because you're like, it's not more the fact that I'm worried about viewership at that point. It's more the fact, like, am I going to be okay with this friend, or if that's going to be making any complications? If you don't really want negativity in the stream regardless, but at that point you can always just hit the either mute button or end stream button if you really need to. But you can't hit a mute button on a friend if you really want to try to patch things up, or if it really even depending on what the argument is about. I've actually had to deal with that a couple of times where a game kind of stressed us out a little bit too much, and then we were going at each other for a little bit. But I mean, we eventually made up for it, and we're back and talking and stuff nowadays. But it can be stressful.
Yeah, for sure. In the future, what are your goals for the future of the streamer?
Well, I mean, I would, every streamer that hits the live button would love to be partnered and all that eventually. Especially nowadays that Ninja, came out and said, "Oh, by the way, I'm making $500,000 a month just playing." But my more thing is, I'd like to make a place where people can come together, play games, meet new people, and stuff like that. I mean, I'd love to be able to go to like TwitchCon either as just staying in as an affiliate, or if I actually eventually get to that partner stage, meet more people and just network more. Some people really think a lot of the days is that it's for the money, but the money is nice because it can help produce better content for your stream, or also like get a game or two and just keep adding on to your stream.
Yeah.
But just meeting new people is probably the best thing that can come out of stream. And just getting different opportunities through that.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
Yeah,
That's-
100%.
Yeah, me and my buddy Rev, we both got our affiliates. I think Rev was affiliated a little bit before I, but every time we stream together, we were saying the day we get to TwitchCon together is the day we make a shirt or something.
You guys definitely have to make that happen for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I got a
And
mug.
Congratulations on affiliate.
Thank you. I got that back in August.
What, August just gone?
Yeah, August is when I first got affiliate.
Oh, no way.
Like the beginning of August, yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you.
So, if you had to give one tip to the next person who wants to be a streamer, what would that tip be?
Well, I mean, there's actually quite a few. The main thing though is do not look at the viewer count and let it get to you, because for when you're first starting out, you know that number is going to start at 0. All numbers always start at 0. But you know, as time goes on, it can either increase or decrease. But the only reason why you should use that number is to see if you need to change anything. Don't let it get you to the point where you just don't want to hit the live button anymore. I know a couple of buddies who have let that happen, and they're really cool dudes. But you know, if they don't stream, you're not getting your name out there, you're not getting content out there, and you're not able to get new people and to keep watching. But once you get over that, then really you are good to go, and you just keep going. Don't let it don't stop, just keep going. But also do it if you are allowed or you're able to. Like if you don't have to worry about any like bills, or if you have important things in real life to deal with.
Some
Definitely
really good
great
tips.
sound advice.
Yes.
Yeah. And you know, of course, like literal things is just see if you got you know, your streaming software well, if your internet can even handle it, and, you know, little things like that. But yeah, main thing is probably for like the short and sweet is don't let the viewer count get to you. Be consistent in streaming. And always just do it for the fun. Don't do it for the money.
Preach.
Yeah, preach to that, brother. Preach to that.
Preach it.
So this is the part of the podcast where we start to wrap things up, and we actually have 2 more questions for you, but these are more for you, I guess, in a way.
All right.
So
Bring them.
So the first question to wrap up this episode is, what do you have going on right now that you would like to share with us and the people listening?
Well, right now, I have gotten other games that I've never played. Like I haven't played a lot of Magic, but a buddy of mine told me about the whole arena battle, so I could start doing that, and even maybe do that against viewers once I get back into Magic, because I haven't played that in like 4 or 5. Other than that, really, it's just more the fact is trying to get other things rolling. Like I've been trying to see if I can get more emotes and stuff done, and then just trying to play a little bit more with viewers, just so they feel a little bit more, you know, like around and stuff. And soon, actually, I'm going to be able to get a couple of 14-day keys for Tarkov that I'll actually be trying to give away soon. So if anyone's actually has interest in the game but haven't had the money to put into the beta yet, just keep an eye out for that, because you'll be able to try it for 14 days for free.
Awesome.
That sounds really good.
And then if people who haven't heard, Subnautica is free for probably another week or so on Epic Games. So make sure to get that, because I'll probably be playing that like blind playthrough very soon. Trying to do that.
I grabbed that real quick. So I saw it go on. I'm like, oh, that's mine.
I was
Yoink,
the same.
mine.
I'll take that. Thank you.
I mean,
Yeah, other than that, it's really just playing with people more.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I wouldn't even say viewer interaction. I would say follower interaction is probably the main point of being a streamer, right?
Yeah, because you want to, after you hit the follow button, you just want to hit a follow and leave. You want them to come back the second you hit the live button, or just come back in the stream. I was trying to think of maybe doing more like Overwatch customs, League customs, and just stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Okay, so the final question I have for you, and it's probably the most important one I have for you. Where can people find you on the social media and on the internet?
So I do have a Twitter account that was made just for the stream. It is the same as the name, Sordmas, SORDM. I usually post on there whether I go live or if any update. I also have been trying to do polls for the game on the night. I've been putting it there. Other than that, I do have a Discord I also made separate for the thing. I can give a link that never expires, and I can give it to you guys, and you guys can put it on if you want.
Awesome.
Otherwise, I do have a link for it on my Twitch, of course, because I stream on Twitch, not Mixer. And of course, that is also the same name, SORDMAS.
Awesome. Like I say in every episode, those links will be down below in the description below the episode. So please do go and give Sordmas a check out, follow on Twitch, follow on Twitter, join his Discord. You know the rules, guys. Let's do it.
Do it, you must.
Do you have a schedule right now, or?
I do have a schedule. Normally it is, I try to start around 9 p.m. CST, and then I usually just go until probably between 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. is generally the thing. Of course, that could be a little bit later, or random days like Thursdays I could randomly start up a stream, just depending on how everything's going, and also if I get to work on time. Because I do, like I said earlier, I try to get a little bit of food in real quick and then go live right after work. But usually it's Monday through Wednesday, then Friday and Sunday. Sunday can be a little bit earlier just because work usually gets out a little bit earlier.
That's awesome.
So I guess this is the part where we say thank you for joining us, Sod.
Well, thank you again for hosting me, and stay cheeky breeky.
I will be
Gotta
sure
say
to say
cheeky
cheeky breeky.
Cheeky breaky.
Cheeky
Cheeky
breaky.
breaky.
Yeah, thank you so much for actually agreeing to come on the show.
Of course, like I said, thank you very much for hosting. It's pretty fun, pretty laughable enjoyment.
Been a pleasure having you.
Thank yous.
Don't forget you can catch Sordmas on Twitch at twitch.tv/Sordmas and on Twitter at Sordmas. We will also put all our information down in the post description below this episode. We will not have a show next week, but we will be back the following week. We will be streaming some old episodes between that time, so please make sure you go and follow us on Twitch at BehindTheStreams, all one word. Once again, a big thank you to Sordmas for being our guest. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you in 2 weeks, guys. Thank you for listening. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to Behind the Streams. Be sure to follow us on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube.